Good evening, everyone. I'm Shadows Pub, and welcome to Pimp Your Post Thursday, taking place in the Steam at Ramble and streamed live on DLive. For those who are new to the show, you'll see a message I'm going to drop into the channel with instructions for an emoji you use to enter the queue. When I see the emoji, I will add you to the queue list and put another emoji by yours. If you want to see where you are in the queue, visit the DLive link. Be sure to mute the sound there if you are listening here. When your turn is called, you will drop your link in the text chat and come on to voice to tell us about your post. If you're unable to use voice, then you must have text ready to copy-paste into the text channel when you drop your link. There we go, and we do have somebody up on the queue. Anybody else going to drop theirs in? They're still trying to get their head around vinegar on French fries. To me, it's the most normal thing in the world, right, Artemis?
Oh, love it, especially malt vinegar.
I'm not big on malt vinegar unless I'm having French fries.
Malt vinegar and salt.
Now, if I'm having fish, I'll have malt vinegar, but otherwise I just want regular vinegar.
Fish and chips and vinegar, vinegar, vinegar. Fish and chips and vinegar, vinegar and salt.
Oh, you gotta have salt. And vinegar.
Got it.
Amazing. Okay, Zipporah, lead us off. Ah, that's who Zaphod is. Coffee. So it begs the question, why is he not in purple for witness? There, fix that.
Don't know.
He is now.
Hello.
All right.
Hello, all.
Hello.
So this was my first little stab at a U-log. It's been a little bit of an emotional week. The fella that I've been with for the last 2 years, we broke up, and we actually broke up the week before I had my fall, and then he just moved out on Saturday. So when I wrote this post, I was feeling a little emotional and thought, I don't know, it was as good a time as any to share a little bit of a personal, candid U-log type dealio. So, and it's a little update about having seen the podiatrist about my poor little damaged foot. So it's not a hugely long one, but it is very personal, and that's all. Thanks, guys.
And are we looking at good news or bad news on the foot?
Just what I expected. Thankfully, no surgery necessary, but the radiologist who said that my foot was perfectly normal was clearly fucking high or something, because not only is it chipped just like originally diagnosed, but the podiatrist also strongly suspects that I have a non-displaced fracture on the fourth, and he said you could tell all those three got smashed, and the fourth actually looks like it's a little twerked as well. So that explains why. And the swelling's going down, but the more the swelling goes down, the pain seems to be getting more acute and worse, which is annoying. But I've graduated. I'm not using the crutches anymore. I'm just kind of hobbling around on the boot. And so that's good. Some reclamation of independence is good, but I've got at least another, now at this point, 3 weeks in the boot. So making do.
Amelia, thank you, Zipporah. Amelia, a U-log is basically a journal. You write about yourself and your life, or something that has value in your life. The main thing is to make sure that it's original content. It's something that Surpassing Google started, and it's kind of spreading. It originally started kind of in the Indonesian communities, because he does a lot of work with that community, and now it's spreading out.
Yeah, it was originally to try and encourage people to create original content, because there's so much plagiarism happening, and to try and dissuade people and encourage them just to share their own lives, because there's no way that'll ever be plagiarizing.
Exactly. Yeah, it was one thing for us to tell, communities that are doing copy paste type stuff, do original stuff, where surprising Google said, this is how you do original content. So it was pretty ingenious on his part, really. And there's Kitty Girl with a blinky.
Thanks,
Hey,
guys.
can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, just checking I got my tech working.
Well, there you go. Engine says he liked my BU model. Can you try that again in English, Engine?
Yeah, because I'm always saying, my post and my post is just be you. So that's what you
Okay,
is
now
about,
I
being
gotcha.
yourself.
All right, now I got it. Okay, Jan, you are up. Yeah, punctuation, who needs it?
Yeah, what's that? I don't even know what grammar or punctuation means anymore.
All right, Jan, tell us about this.
Howdy, this is a Corley Worley, and I've promised one of these to Artemis North if I ever meet her. So I walk around with one in my pocket constantly, and it keeps melting, and I have to keep eating it and buying a new one, so it's very expensive. I mentioned this before to Artemis North, and then today, the kitty mentioned it as well. So I thought I'll do a little post about it, and I'll do it as a bit of a teaser post. So what I done, I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to go and read it, because if I tell you, it'll just spoil it. But it's worth to go and read just for a little bit of fun and to learn what a Corley Woolly is if you don't already know.
I hope you're not looking for a picture of the bar. Just
Sorry?
mentioning that. I hope nobody's looking for a picture of the actual bar.
Well,
Apparently,
they
they're
are
hard to spot in the wild.
They are very, very enjoyable to eat. So once I open them, they don't tend to last that long.
This is true, and I noticed that the wrapper is empty. Ah, he did put it in further down.
Yeah, that was the humor, and I couldn't tell you about that before you went and looked at it, or it would have ruined it.
So, Artemis, this actually looks like a bar that we used to have around here. And it was a weird name. It wasn't this.
No, but the one you're thinking of had marshmallow in it.
Ah, that could be.
I love the name, Curly Whirly.
Try to say that when you're drunk.
No, I'm Irish. Well, I did live in London for a little while.
Oh, so now it's mixed up Irish?
Well, I lived in Manchester as well, and half the time when I was living in Manchester, I moved in with a black family, so I got a little bit mixed up there again.
True enough.
Put it this way, when I came back to Ireland, and somebody asked me to do something when I started working, I would just say, yeah, man, and I would go do it, and they ended up just calling me the yeah, man, instead of saying, because I would say, yeah, man, instead of, yeah, sure.
Yeah, man, like you're from Jamaica.
Yeah, kind of like that, and I was talking with a bit of the black accent in it as well. It took a while to lose that. But if I go somewhere and I pick up a phrase somewhere, I tend to say it the way it was said where I heard it.
Well, that makes sense. All right. Thank you, Jan. And Unicornia, you are up. And I know she's there. There we go. I see her typing. And we're waiting. I don't know why I'm muted. Are you set up for push to talk in here?
You got to strengthen your pimp game. Yeah, yeah. Check your settings and the
Yeah,
little gear down there.
she's got to check to make sure that she's set up for push to talk. You're not server muted. I know that. I just checked. Well, that's odd. If you're set up for push to talk, try dropping out and coming back in. Let's see if it clears it.
Make sure you have the right inputs too. Sometimes it'll default for like your computer instead of your microphone or something, like your headset.
Give you a minute or two there to double check.
Okay.
There we go.
Hi.
It is working. Now you just need a link. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. So this is the post. I think the character kindly left this post for me in the morning because I had a meeting about a fashion event that I have a few some months after this one. Well, this is a fun post about how a cat will advise you about being happy. I'm trying to achieve a little challenge that I'm making in my. I think that I left that post here once. I'm making a short challenge to talk about myself, very much similar to the U log, but each day of the week is a theme. So after I made my What Makes Me Happy post, I decided to get into the perspective of Mika, the cat that lives here, a big, really, really big and really, really fat cat that sleeps all day and is always up for cuddles and playing. um, I wanted to get the perspective of a cat about what they do to be happy. And I just wanted to make something cute to share with you, pretty much. There is no big explanation here, no big plot twist or deep meaning or something. It's just a fun, cute post that I made to share with everyone here in Steam.
So, what is the concept behind Cosmic Pill?
Well, I always say that we are little cosmos inside. We have a cosmos growing, getting expanded, exploding, deconstructing constantly. So Cosmic Pill is pretty much a short post about oneself. That it's really simple. It's a really simple concept. It's talking
like
about yourself with a short picture
like
in a.
U-log.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. I didn't knew about the U-log when I made this challenge.
Okay, so you created the Cosmic Pills. Is that right, Unicornia? You created the concept?
Yeah, I created the concept. I wanted to make it cosmic-like and give it a little short, affordable format for those who can post every day or for those who can post regularly in case they are out of ideas, pretty much, like me.
So a whole unicornucopia of pretty kitties there, I tell you what.
There is. So is it always about cats, or they're just about whatever you want?
Well, the thing is that since the challenge is talking about yourself, you have to make we have a topic for each day of the week. So, for example, in the Monday, you talk about your roots, you talk about where you come from, where you grew up, how your parents raised you. You know, those kind of things that made you what you are right now, from your childhood to what you actually are and what you achieve right now.
So,
Uh,
where do you have the list of the topic for each day?
oh yeah, I can drop the post right now if you want to.
Sure, somebody might be interested in
Yeah,
trying
I
it.
made a little really cosmic, filled with unicorns. Hello, cute post about it.
Mm-hmm.
So let me find it out. Mhm.
I think I've got it here.
Trust Kitty Girl. So there we go. There's the challenge.
Yeah, the list is inside that post.
Unicornicopia.
Yeah, there it is. So Monday's
Yeah,
Follow Your Roots, Tuesday's Lifestyle and Personal Image, Wednesday's Personal Beliefs, Thursday, Abilities and Talents. Oh, Abilities and Talents. Friday, What Make You Happy. Saturday, Friends and Inspirational People. And Sunday, Goals and Objectives. So there you are, folks. There's a week's worth of posts.
yeah, it's a kind of excuse to make an introspection process, and it's a way to get to know better the Stemians, because we tend to look out for ways to post, you know, interesting things and stuff, drawing processes, music processes, or anything that make you interesting. But the thing is that yourself, your life, and your regular basics can make you interesting, or uh, they can be interesting too. So I think that is a really cute way to get to know more Estonians here, like deeply, more than what they do.
All right.
And
Thank you.
since this concept is slightly different than the U-log, people could participate in both. They could do a cosmic pill and then do a U-log.
Totally. Yeah, it's a good concept.
Exactly.
Nice work, Unicornia.
Yeah, that's my idea. Well, I think that's kind of limited. Some people don't like to get limited to post a topic in a specific, but I think that if you want to talk about yourself and you want to um, let the people know you better, this is a really good idea to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Unicornia. Engine, you're up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Unicornia. And what is Engine up to here?
Probably still trying to get over that text I put up there. Bless his heart.
Can you hear me now?
There he is. There he is. Yeah, I can hear you, Engine.
Yeah, I've got some background noise. I apologize.
I can't understand why
But
that would happen.
yes, it's been quite the eventful past week or so here within the Alliance and freezing up blockchain and updating witness servers and all that crazy stuff, taking cosmic pills and U-logs and clogs and schlogs and snogs and you name it, this, that, and the other. Headless horsemen running around all over the place on Steam it. Artemis knows what I was looking at. But anyway, yes, that is my witness update. It's a little later than most probably, but from what I can tell, there's several witnesses that haven't even updated yet. One of them, who we talked about earlier on the morning show, completely backed down. It looks like there may have been a few others that did. But that was my experience with the whole thing. I was going back and forth primarily with Jet and Hoda and guilty parties throughout the night. Guilty, he's a little farther ahead in the time zone, so he went to bed before I did, and I stayed up all night, and it was just a hassle because mine, it kept freezing. It didn't want to publish anything or recognize that blocks were being put out there, and it was like, nah, you skipped the term, I missed 3 blocks in that time period. I was kind of unhappy. I had to replay the whole thing, which means I had to reindex the whole blockchain into my server. And with my internet speed, it takes roughly 6 hours. So, yeah, I was locked out. Yeah, good job, Noble Witness. You guys didn't miss a block. Several others didn't miss. Some are still missing that I figured would be up and running by now, like Eurosoul and Michuoso. But did he? Draco Satu too? Oh, man. Crazy.
Good news
But
was
yes.
that there was enough witnesses that were on the job that they brought the blockchain back up.
Yeah, the main thing was getting the RPC nodes registering the new code, and once that was in place, then it was just a matter of everybody switching over to the soft fork. But girls, what are we grumpy about back there?
Of course, as always the way, if something like that's going to happen, it's not going to happen during business hours.
Yeah, it has to happen at 2 a.m. when I'm ready for bed. But yeah.
Yeah, when
my experience and another experience that I had.
Complaining about the witnesses, they need to pay attention to what occurred then. What was the other experience, Injun?
The other experience I had, somebody hacked our family account, the Alliance, which is another reason I missed a few blocks last week. I had changed all my keys, which I'm pretty sure I didn't put my password or anything out there anywhere. I think the guy's just a hack. According to some guy, 123, he is a quote-unquote benevolent hack. Because the only places I ever put any keys for that was on Steam Connect and in Steam Auto, and I've been assured several times that both of them are very secure and their security is, top notch. I was thinking that's where the breach was. Or maybe I was really, really tired and I accidentally dropped it somewhere, but I highly doubt that. I've been guarding that account even more than my own. But this Lost Key guy, he claimed initially to be this white hat guy exploiting different things on the blockchain when that wasn't the case. He sent everybody's funds back to them except for ours. And he just kind of has disappeared. So, I don't know. That was the lesson I learned.
Yeah, that's not benevolent.
Maybe not a lesson, but because I don't know exactly what I did wrong.
Unicornia thinks she's going to leave the ramble with diabetes. I don't think so. Just don't eat it.
She's talking about all the cuteness, the sweetness overload from the Sound of Woody's kids.
All right.
I won't need any sugar for anything right now. I have enough sugar in my life with those cute little baby sounds.
You just come on PYPT once a week, he'll get your fix.
Yep. And if Injun's children aren't, sometimes you can catch Katrina's.
Right?
For sure.
She's got some cute little twins.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Injun. Artemis.
Thank you.
There she is, right on the bed.
Well, here's another post by Star Jewel. This morning I pimped an older post of hers that was beautiful freeform. And this is an example of the amazing jewelry that she makes. She even painted the eye in the middle. She's just an amazing artist, so go give her some love.
She is really good.
That is really good work. Wow. Intricate.
Yeah. She's showing how it's going together there, too.
Yeah, she never disappoints me. She always gives me some of her process, and I love it.
Yep. Yeah, she really does nice stuff. Have you checked with Azaria if she would like something like this for her curation? The one you put up this morning was getting a little bit old, but this one's newer.
I'll have to pop it over to her and see if she wants it.
Yeah. Cornea says, Artemis, we need to talk about fashion and fiber. Okay. You two work that out.
Sounds good, Unicornia.
Thank you, Artemis. And Zaphod Beeblebrox. Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, that's fantastic. It works. Haha.
Technology.
Yeah, indeed. Technology is wonderful.
It is.
But give me a moment because I've lost the actual post I was going to share. No, I'm back now.
Well, hurry up, mate. We ain't got all night. Well, actually, we do.
Muxie, is Rondo okay?
Yeah, she's not quite feeling herself. She's had a rough few days.
She said she was going to go lay down and listen on her phone this morning, but we've noticed she hasn't been in.
Yeah, I told her just before I came here that I was going to pop in, and she said to say hi, but she's busy with rescue work,
Yeah,
and yeah, things have been a bit draining lately. So
yeah, she needs some rest.
she does.
Okay, sorry, Zaphod, go ahead.
I'm ready now. Thank you very much. So I'm going to share a post by Hazim91 from the Alliance, and I really like this poem. Well, it's not a poem. I don't think it's a bit of a verse. It's a bit about his life as well, but it's quite gritty and true to the heart, and it strung a few of my own heartstrings at the same time when I read it earlier today. So I'd like to share that one and let everyone have a look through and maybe give their own opinion on it if they could.
Okay. Don't forget about the power of comments.
I just... Go ahead, son.
Yeah, no, so I agree with that, the power of comments.
Yeah.
I think...
We were talking about this morning the fact that PYPT can drain people's voting power, but they can still comment.
Absolutely, yes. And I think, funnily enough, this week, one of the funniest things I saw was Dreamstream's full stop post, if anyone caught that. That cracked me up completely, because that was the best post I have ever seen on Steam it so far.
Yeah.
And is she up to like $5 now on that post?
I think so, yeah.
Because suppressing Google just completely blew it up for her as well. But it was because if you get to look at that post, which is fantastic, the thing is, the interaction, the amount of people commenting on a post that has nothing in it is incredible.
Yeah,
Truly
it was basically
incredible.
a non-existent post.
Yeah, and I think it all started out with Bengi shared it, and then Safi Sarah got in, and then I kind of got in, and it just sort of blew up, and loads of people just left loads of funny comments, and it just turned into a post that wasn't a post, it was a load of comments that went on forever and ever and ever, and still does.
Yeah, I picked up a few of them. I don't know that I saw them all, but I saw quite a few of them.
It goes on forever now. It's kind of it'll go down legendary as a sort of Steam it sort of legend that maybe you don't always have to create the most amazing content, but if you're someone that everyone goes towards, your personality, then maybe that in a way is also something that draws people to you.
Coffee makes some of the best comments I've seen. You're one of those people, eventually I don't think you'll even have to post anything. You just comment and everybody will upvote the crap out of your comments because they're so awesome.
Yeah, he does. He does interesting comments. You never quite know what you're going to see.
Well, I wanted to see if I could ask a question of Coffee.
Go on, yeah.
I'm not going to try to... What is this? Zaphod Beeblebrox. I can't even pronounce that.
Zaphod Beeblebrox. Even I could say that one.
Well, you're Canadian.
Yes, I am.
I'm American. I'm just going to do what we do and just call you what the hell I like. And I like to call you Coffee. So, where are we at with the crazy karaoke, the bad karaoke?
All right.
Where are we at there, son?
Well, I've managed to do one this week, which was about as rubbish as I've managed yet, I think. Bordering on worse, which was Sneaker Pit's 6 Underground. So yeah, that I posted that a few days ago, and I'm working on one this weekend, I think, as well.
Well, I was just curious. I haven't put in one. I think one I did. I'll brag a bit on myself. Oh, everyone knows Ahento never brags, but I did my one. Bad karaoke was curate. Oh my God. To have a bad karaoke curate or something. But no, I was just curious. Are we still on number 8 or number 9?
Oh, I think it's 8 now. But funny enough, as Engine Witty says, he did a very, very, very good one. But I'm a bit worried because Engine's now got backing vocalists, so I think the bad karaoke is turning into a bit of a pro job.
You think it's a bit of a pro job then?
Wait till Jerry Vanfield starts competing, man, and nobody else is going to win.
Well, okay. You guys DM me and tell me what song you want me to sing, and I'll have a go. I don't care how crazy
Bad
it
Moon
is.
Rising.
And all the
Bad Moon
rewards,
Rising. CCR. Bad Moon Rising. CCR.
and all the rewards will go to You Are Hope.
Sorry,
That's a promise.
you've just been given your challenge.
What was your challenge, Engine? Say it again, son. Say it slower because you know I'm
Bad Moon
kind of
Rising by
hard.
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
You picked my favorite band and something that is absolutely impossible for me to do. But for you, Engine, I'll do it. I
Awesome! Oh, I can't wait to hear it. That'll be awesome.
I don't
You
want
heard it here
Swolesome to
on
get jealous,
Pimp Your
so
Post Thursday.
it's done. It was done yesterday, son. We'll get her done.
Woohoo!
And you heard it here first. All right. Thank you, Coffee. And G-Mux, you are up.
Hello.
Hello.
Let me just find my post. As some of you might know, I run the art prompt writing contest over at the Writer's Block, and basically it's in 2 sections. The first bit is someone submits either a piece of art or a photograph, and then we use the winner of that as a writing prompt for the writing contest. The last writing contest was unfortunately about 3 weeks ago, something like that. And because of the travelling to Gatlinburg and back and being so busy over at the Writer's Block, it didn't so much slip my mind as I just didn't get around to it. So let me just paste that. And I'm sharing this more to share the authors. I mean, their posts are way past payout, but it would be awesome if you could check them out and vote up some of their current posts.
Monks, could you get the authors to put a comment on their post, and then people can upvote that comment?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a way to do it when they're past payout.
Yeah.
Shadow, I don't know why, but your voice is getting really quiet. I can't hear you.
My voice is getting quiet?
Yeah, like you're getting farther from the microphone.
No, mic's in the same place. How's everybody else?
Yeah. Sounds the same to me.
Well, maybe it's my connection. I don't know.
That's a possibility.
But although their posts, like I say, are way out of payouts, they're all 3 excellent short stories that deserve some eyes on them.
Yeah. leave comments congratulating.
Oh, yes, for sure.
So, you're going to be doing...
Good to hear your voice, Mox. I'm glad you came on.
Thank you.
Go vote for Noble Witness if you haven't. They're awesome. 4-person
Yeah.
tandem running that witness over there. And if you haven't voted for Coffee, you need to vote for him too.
And if you haven't voted for Engine, vote for him too.
Only if you want to.
I'll consider it.
I'm not that awesome. Only some days.
Muxie, are you going to be running another one, or are you going to hold off for a bit?
Yeah, I'm going to run the art portion of it over sometime. Well, I'll probably leave it till Monday now, because we give that a week, and then we announce the winner of that and post the writing contest part of it, and then we give that a full 3 weeks. So it lasts a month.
Okay. So we'll be looking for you pimping next week. He's not commenting on that. All right. Thank you, Muxie. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Everything went quiet, and I went, am I lost it again? Because I lost my connection this morning. And Engine, you're back up. Some of what might be making a little bit of difference there, Kitty Girl, is I have a fan running that I didn't have running this morning.
That's probably what I'm getting grounded. Yeah.
The humidity.
I don't hear your fan at all, though.
Well, it's kind of muting her voice, blowing it away from where it normally is, or something, sucking it away.
Yeah, the humidity started
pulling the sound waves.
so I had to put the fan on.
But yes, that post I dropped there is from another fabulous family member, Safira, Sassy, Miss Huggable, whatever you want to call her over there. She's pretty fabulous. She wrote this cute story with I believe they're called Bitmojis. They're like a emoji animation thing. She uses people's actual faces for and puts them in there. She made a story about several of us. She made Coffee the dad and Snook the mom, and me and her were like brother and sister. And I like happy posts, especially in light of several negative things that have been going on with the blockchain, you know. So seeing something like that made me smile. So I have to put it out there so other people can get some smiles going on too. 1 second, girls. But yeah, go in there, check it out, show her some love. It's a good, cute little story. We get in a water gun fight, all kinds of stuff.
It looks like she made you the baby brother. Did you like that, Engine, being the baby brother?
Yeah, it's a little different twist on where I normally am.
That's cute.
I'm usually the father figure, so it was nice to be treated so well and so young.
So, is she drawing the backgrounds and then put the bit emojis into it, or where did she get the backgrounds from?
She made them in this thing. I think it's called Bitmoji. I'm not. Some people might be familiar. Kitty might be familiar with it.
Yeah, I've got it installed, but all I get is the actual Bitmojis, not those backgrounds.
No, it's a different program than Bitmoji. I can't.
Yeah, Snook will tell you. I don't know.
It's like a. Well, it says movement cam on there, but it's actually not even that. But you put your face in there, and then it has all these animations, and they're really cute.
Yeah, she's done nice
Coffee. Yeah, and she did another story just like that, and it's just really funny. And the fact that me and Coffee are the mom and dad is just hilarious. There's one where I'm in a really skimpy suit, and I'm like, whoa, I wish I looked like that.
Snook looked good on the beach over there.
Yeah, I did. I was like, can I have that picture and like paste it everywhere? That's what I really look like. Yeah.
But those pictures that she's created there are good enough that she actually could do like a children's storybook.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, she almost kind of has, really.
exactly.
Well, Snook, I have got a question for you. I had heard somebody say not too long ago that Safa Sarah does most of her posts on her phone. I'm not sure if she doesn't have a computer or what. Does she do these on the phone too?
Yeah, it's a phone app. It actually only, her app that she uses only comes on the phone. Where the Bitmojis, you have to start them on your phone or tablet, but then it'll go into the Chrome browser. But yeah, it only does, and I think, and don't take me 100%, but I think the app she's using, she has to get them animated like that, you actually have to pay for.
Ah, that makes sense. Which would explain why there's a watermark on the pictures.
Right.
Yeah. But that's a lot of work to do it on a phone, even on a tablet, rather than the laptop.
But I don't think she still does it on the laptop. I think she still does it on her phone.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I don't know how she does it on her phone. I mean, that's all she ever had, but it's crazy when I can't even sometimes do a post on my, 24-inch screen. She's like with a phone.
I guess if that's what you're used to, that's what you learn to work with.
And typing is so much harder on the phone too. It's pretty impressive when people can do it.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Well, and then on top of it, she's Swedish, so I'm assuming she speaks Swedish, whatever, not English as a first language. So you throw that in the mix. I mean, it's just impressive all the way around what she's done.
Yeah, it is.
And her sense of humor is just, and she's like scared. We've been getting these. I hope you don't mind. And I'm like, my God, they're funnier than heck. Go for it. I don't care. It's a picture. So
Well, I have not
really
seen this post yet, so thank you, Engine, for sharing it. This is really cute.
Yeah, Engine's popped off for a few minutes to deal with the kids. But it's very cute. All right.
You need to take care of the babies. And the babies, if you're like an old uncle like me, the fifth grandfather, the babies always come first.
All right, Artemis North.
Well, if he's not going to pimp this one, I am. This is Ingenuity's Killer Picks contest, and I was really excited last week because fiber arts was the topic, and I don't know how we picked the winners because there was some good entries, but these are the winners. And also this week is fireworks
because of Canada Day and the 4th of July. Correct.
He wants to see those kaboomers.
Well, I'll have no parts in this, but it's okay. That's nice. Everybody likes them fireworks. That's good. I used to love it when I was a kid. How about it?
Okay. So people are being a little shy here tonight because I've actually gone through the queue. There's some folks that haven't shared yet, unless they don't want to.
Thanks, everybody. I gotta go get ready for my friends to pick me up. You guys are awesome.
Bye.
I was just looking for that emoji maker thing.
Artemis.
What?
Go ahead.
This guy, he drives me bonkers. He is an excellent felt artist. This latest one that he's done is so cool, but all he gives me is eye candy. So I keep bugging him to share his process. So maybe if more people bug him, he might do it.
So that's all he does is he puts up the finished product?
Yeah, he puts up the finished project, and it's a really cute little video that he does. And he does such amazing work, and he uses many different types of fibers to do it, and he likes to experiment. And I would just love to curate him, but I need to see a little more.
But did you tell him that? He's a really nice guy.
Well, I haven't talked to him here on Discord because I don't know what he goes under. But I leave him messages on his posts.
And he doesn't answer?
Well, they're just kind of like, wow, that's a really good piece. I would really like to see more process. And then I don't hear from him.
Well, he's, this is going to sound bad. No, he's a really nice guy. He runs a bed and breakfast in France with his wife. And he does his writing when he takes his dogs for a walk on the phone. But I would send him a DM and actually tell him why you want him to do that, and then I think that would make a difference.
Oh, thanks. Great idea. And thank you, kitty girl.
Yeah, because he's a really sweetheart. He's from the Free Writer group.
Oh, okay.
That's how I know him. He was one of the original free writers with me.
Aha.
Yeah, that's how I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be good to see more process, and he'd have a better chance of getting something like a Curie if he did that.
Right.
I think so. Because his work is amazing.
Yeah, it is. He's done, and then he makes like these little gift things with the little, like he made a gift with them, knitting a heart. Like two needles knitting a heart thing. I mean, he does amazing stuff.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah.
Well, he might get the picture over time. So leave some comments there saying we'd like to see more how you do this. Should make a difference. Hopefully make some sort of difference. Thanks,
Yeah,
Sarah.
and he sells his stuff in a little church by his house in France.
Oh, really?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a collective thing, and it's a little gift shop next to, I don't know, some French church that I don't know anything about. But yeah, there's a collective group of people that do art and stuff and sells it in there. So I would think, he would want to get the word out about his stuff. It's because it's cute.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay, Snook, you're up. And you're ready to rock.
I forgot what I had in my link, so I was glad I had it. So my son has been using my camera, and he made this post yesterday for Surpassing Google is doing a contest that everybody wins, and it's in order to say you're supposed to say U-log without the U in it, and he in a Snook way went way over like a couple minutes, and it's actually quite funny to listen to. So I just wanted to, but it is not like a 2-second video.
It's like mother like son?
Well, I think he's learning from me, unfortunately.
Yes, because I love this first comments. After seeing the mighty Snook in action, I wanted to try my hand at making a video.
Well, okay, that's a little embarrassing because I asked a guy, or this guy from the U-Logs from Nigeria had asked if anybody would do an interview with them about U-Logs, and nobody answered him. So I answered him and said, sure. Well, then he had to finish school and everything. Well, so then he wrote this, so he interviewed me over Discord chat, and then he posted it, and the first line is like, I've talked to the whale, the mighty whale snook, and my son's like, really? And I'm like, oh my God.
The mighty whale.
I am like, no way, a whale. And I'm like, but he made this like, and that's why he said the mighty snook. So it was an inside joke, but if you read this article, it sounds like I'm like we're at billions or whatever on here, and I'm not at all.
Maybe
so
that's maybe something.
I don't know, but that's where that came from.
And then,
so it's an interview that I like re-steamed, but I'm like,
So your son entered the snook zone.
He did, and he was really funny. And then he was doing a commercial this morning for some other contest, and I had to tell him what not to do and what to do, and it was actually really funny. There she is. Because he's like doing it like really weird, and he was doing this bug eye thing, and I'm like, what are you doing?
I like Kitty Girl. Come to the snook zone. We have cookies.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Are they shortbread snooks?
Those are my favorite cookies.
Staffy's coming. She loves cookies.
Yeah, cookies are good. Cookies are good.
All right. Thank you, Snook. And Kitty Girl, you are next.
Well, I had my link ready until Sarah came in, and I was typing something to her. Let me get my link back in there.
All right.
Okay, there we go. Well, darn it, the picture doesn't show for me. There's a cute picture, too. This post is about photo sharing sites. Long before Instagram ever became a reality, there were places online to share photos. And there were a number of sites that came and then disappeared. And those are the ones I'm talking about in this post. There are plenty that are still around, like Flickr and SmugMug, Snapfish, and Shutterfly, and I could go on. But some of the ones that disappeared were really, really good. One of the first ones I ever got on was called Snap My Life, because it was supposed to be a site similar to the way Instagram operates now, where you take pictures with your phone and share them with other people. But besides having an app and being very web friendly on a phone, it was easy to go onto the mobile web and hit their website and post a pic. There were others that came out too, and these sites, built communities around them. Radar was another one, and it was just so great to actually get conversations going in comments underneath your pictures, and they had ways of sending direct messages, private direct messages between users, and it was fantastic. But unfortunately, so many of these other sites have gone down, and they've been eaten up by Instagram. There was one that they just said it wasn't profitable to keep going, and so they finally shut down because of that. But most of them have been driven out by Instagram. Instagram coming in with their mega dollars to spend on advertising campaigns and whatnot, and they just kind of drove a lot of these smaller operations into the dirt. But there was another one that was really good called Pick Please that actually had filters people could use on their posts, and it was really wonderful. And I gave an example. I took a photograph of a small town's main street and then processed it with the 70s filter to make it look like an old 1970s photo that had faded. And so it was really sad when that one shut down because, we lost all those filters. I've learned how to do some of those filters manually in Paint Shop Pro, but I have not mastered all of them yet. But anyway, So that was just kind of a reminiscing post. And then at the end of the post, I asked people, are there any other sites or apps that you used to use to share photos? And if so, tell us about them in the comments. It may be that I've forgotten one.
Very cool. And has there been any suggestions down there?
Well, actually, I have not looked at the comments in the last day or two to see if there were any. um, actually, scanning through now. No, it doesn't look like any there now. So, but I'm sure there are others out there. People just aren't telling us about them.
I've forgotten about them. I know quite often I'll go in and use the site unless it's really fantastic and keeps my attention. I just forget what it is.
Yeah, there were 2 or 3 others that I know have used, and I just can't think of their names because I didn't use them as much as I did these.
Yeah. After a while, things get buried in bookmarks, so if you don't remember it, you quite often don't go back.
But I was so amazed at how much that pinwheel looked like the logo for that one site. It was so cool. And what made me write this post was I was looking through old photos just the other day, and I saw that one, and I thought, "Ooh, I ought to write about this." So there it is.
You do come up with some interesting topics, Kitty Girl.
I try.
And you succeed. All right. Thank you. Artemis North. Who are you sharing this time?
I'm sharing us.
Oh, us.
And this is the recap of our new show. We had our first episode on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And it was in which room? Curation Corner, just down below us. We had Rhonda Kay on, and we talked about posts that we've been curating, as well as talked a lot about the changes that are happening in the writer's block. And we heard from Beanie and Jay Clay. He told us about his Chicago workshops. I think it was a success.
Yeah, we had a lot of good feedback on it. And Ingenuity is coming on next week on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 6 p.m. UTC. So it should be an interesting show. And I see Muxie typing away there. Thank you, Kitty Girl and Hobatang.
Did I miss Azaria's show?
Yes.
Shit.
It was a good show, too. Muxie caught the recording. So it was fun. It was fun doing it. All right. And that would put Snook up next. There she is.
Hey, I don't know if everybody in here maybe knows about it or not. I don't know. It's a story that I started a while ago, and it's slowly ongoing. I'm not doing it every day. I'm doing it when the story tells me that it needs to be made. So I'm now on chapter 2, and in here I have part 4 and 5. So there'll be one more part probably added to this before I go into chapter 3. But I'm really liking how it's turning out, and it's based off of the picture that you see that I made back in 2012. So it's been a lot of fun to do it, and I've been busy with so much other stuff. I haven't actually been writing. So it's been a lot of fun to just sit down and write late at night, kind of thing.
What? You? Up late?
No, never.
I am shocked.
I'm just shocked.
Me saying goodnight to Shadows while she's waking up? No, never.
I get up one morning around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and open up the computer and went and fed the cats, put the coffee on, and I sit down at the computer and there's a DM from Snook. Good night, just going to bed.
Yeah, your light turned on. I was like, oh, wait. And I started giggling when I saw your light on.
It's dangerous to put the light on during the night.
Yeah, at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's dangerous. Because I might be there.
Yes, you never know who may be lurking.
But yeah, this story's been a lot of fun. And I like that it's not, I don't have a time frame on it, so I can work on it when I want to. And everybody seems to be liking it, which makes me feel good too.
So do you know where the story's going, or are you just kind of pantsing it?
I have a rough idea of where it's going. It's just sometimes it's actually taken an odd turn that I wasn't expecting. But and that's actually kind of what happened, which is why it ended. Part 5 ended where it did, because I wasn't expecting it to end that way, but that's how it ended. So now I have to rethink. I actually know how it's going to end. It's just a matter of how I'm going to get from B to Z. But that's the fun part for me. And I've been using and I have to go back in here because I've been using the free write prompts for the idea for each part. But I, definitely the 5th part probably took me 4 days to do because it's been busy here and I, wrote down my ideas so I didn't forget it and then went back and had to shuffle things around and shuffle again and add some stuff and yeah. So
you use the free write prompts. Do you just randomly pick a free write prompt, or do you look at a free write prompt and say, okay, that's going to be a section of my story?
No, actually what I do is what I have been doing with this story is taking when I have time to write it or I'm in the mood to write it or it wants to be written, however you want to phrase that. I look at whatever today's prompt is, whatever that day's prompt is, and use that. Because that's fun to me. Because then you have to somehow get it in there.
No wonder it goes in different directions on you.
Yeah, but that's the fun part.
Well, of course.
I mean, then it keeps it from being boring, too. Well, in my head, I get bored easily. And so that keeps it exciting for me to want to keep going because then it does the twists and turns that it normally wouldn't if you would just write a regular. I mean, I've read so many books. I mean, they all nowadays follow a format, and that to me is where it's going to go and how it's going to end most of the time. And so that's I think one of the fallbacks of reading too many books.
Yeah, there's certain ones of the prolific writers that they do write to a formula.
It's a formula.
Probably why they're prolific, but it does become predictable.
Yeah. And when I got sick, I couldn't. I used to read basically a book a day, and then I couldn't concentrate long enough to read a whole book in a day. So I actually stopped reading books. I still have a bazillion of them downstairs, but I actually stopped reading books. So that's why Steamit's really nice for me because I can read shorter stories, and still have the joy of reading again because I always read. I'd go on vacation and half my suitcase was full of books.
That's one of the things I love about the iPad.
Yeah.
I can take 100 books with me, and not any heavier than it was with one.
Yeah, but see, this was before all that stuff.
Ah, right.
I mean, and then up until yeah, recently, well, up until my son went down to Columbia, I never even had a computer. And the only reason why I actually got online was because he went down to Columbia and gave me his college laptop. And then I was borrowing the neighbor's internet connection. And then I finally said, well, we need to get at least. So we had like dial-up when people didn't have dial-up anymore.
I had dial-up for a very long time.
Yeah. So it's really his fault that I'm on the internet too, quite honestly.
I had a satellite connection at one point that they would oversell the beam, and I
Yeah.
could log into my dial-up connection and have a faster speed than my satellite.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it wasn't good. It was
No.
absolute frustration.
Yeah. Well, and then when I started playing the online, the Rift and World of Warcraft and stuff like that, it was, well, you needed a faster internet connection.
Dial-up doesn't do it.
No. And like the first time I downloaded Rift, it took like 9 hours to download the game. And then when they would come out with a big patch, it would be like 3 hours. And my friends are like, playing it in 20 minutes or something. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'd be waiting here for a while. So, yeah. So that's the one thing. I give up a lot of things, but that's the one thing I put my foot down and we get is a faster internet connection.
Okay, we're really glad that Snook is no longer using 2 cans and a string.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Snook.
Thank you.
Zephod Bibelbrox, also known as Coffee.
Yeah, where did that name come from?
I don't know,
Hello.
but he threw me for a loop when he arrived in here.
It's a long story, and you really don't want to know it.
Did it happen late last night?
No, it happened early tonight, actually. But
oh, okay.
Anyway.
There's the reference. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Thank you very much, Gma. Oh, so the link. Oh, it's busy. That's why. But I'll share that link anyway. So
but
the
no,
link
it's not coming up. There's something wrong with the link. Maybe the R in the end is an error. Let's see. Yes. Take the R off the end and you can get it. Okay. Tell us about it.
Right, I'm there now. Look. Oh, Kitty Girl got it for me as well. Thank you very much, Kitty Girl. So, this is self-promotion, but this is someone using my Sublime Sunday tag, mcoin79. But I really liked the actual post he did. Him and his boy having a day out last Sunday sea fishing. And, it's really impressive. His boy's kind of cool there in the little shot you get that pulls up. But if you go to the actual post, they actually catch a ton of fish off a boat. And one of the fish is about as big as his boy. So that really impressed me. So it's a really nice sort of fun, friendly post. And I just thought I'd like to share that.
So I'm trying to figure out what that says on the kid's t-shirt. It's something the crowd.
Silence the crowd, maybe?
Yes, silence the crowd.
Yeah, except, I guess the S could be out of sight.
What does that stand for? What does that mean?
Who knows? But it looked good. The kid apparently was going to silence the crowd.
Maybe just by being awesome, who knows?
Well, if you're going to go fishing, you don't want a crowd making a lot of noise. Prove yourself. Lots of possibilities there. Anyways, it is a cool post. And mcoin79. I don't think I've ever come across this one before. But it looks as though it could be an interesting one to keep an eye on.
He's a really nice guy. So there's just him and his boy together in the family, and I think M Coin 79 is actually in a wheelchair, so he's partial disability as well.
Oh, interesting. Well, let's keep an eye on that one and give us some support when we can. Thank you, Coffee.
More than welcome.
This is amazingly slow tonight. Anybody got something else they want to share? Kitty Girl does.
Yeah, I can't believe people are not coming forward. Usually we're, having to rush people along so we can get everybody in.
Of course, we're missing some folks too. Damien's not feeling well today, and Rhonda's not feeling well today. I'm not sure where Bluefin is.
Well, and I know for a fact there are several more people here that could share things. I know Amelia has a post that hasn't paid out. Sarah has been cranking out posts like every day. I know she's got something else. Sarge shared one this morning. He's not sharing it tonight. I don't know.
Well, so we got some people playing shy.
All right. Well, I will talk about my barn again that I talked about this morning then. Yeah, this is another installment of my old barn series, barn number 13, and it's one of my favorites. I think it's a really pretty barn, and I had mentioned this morning that it had a little sentimental value to it as well. My mother got into a situation several years ago where she was actually terminal. She was going to die soon, and was placed in a hospice house. And my father insisted on visiting her every day, which I thought, had great respect for him for wanting to do that. Because he had some health issues of his own, but we drove 45 minutes every day to visit her and then 45 minutes back home. And this barn was one of the barns that we passed along the way. Unfortunately, my father couldn't see it because he was legally blind. He only had like 1% of his vision left at that time, and he couldn't see it. But fortunately, though, on the side tangent, my mother got better under hospice care, rebounded, and after being in there a month, she was discharged. But anyway, this barn is built in a style that's called clapboard, where the boards are nailed onto the framing structure horizontally, and the top of each board is tucked underneath the board above it. And there's a kind of a close-up example in a diagram in the post that shows how that's done. And that's to help rain wash off of the structure. And, of course, it's often painted or whitewashed or whatever on the outside to improve water resistance a little bit, too. But this barn is currently not being used for farming purposes. They may be keeping a lawnmower in there, but that's probably about it. So they're keeping the barn, I guess, for sentimental reasons or historical purposes. And there's a place down in the post you can see a Google Street Maps screen capture where there is another newer barn way over on the right. That's how I know that this barn is not really being used anymore. And I guess that's it. I've rambled enough on this barn. Let somebody else have its turn.
Sometime I think of it, and I happen to be actually outside. There is a barn to the west of me that I should shoot a picture of and send it to you.
Oh yes, I'd love to see that. You could make your own post.
No, I'll leave it up to you. Actually,
well, I don't want to catalog a post somebody else, a barn somebody else has shot. But I'd love to see it, though.
It has some interesting lines, apparently, because I have periodically arrived home to find an artist set up on my lawn painting it.
Oh, how interesting. That is awesome.
Yeah, the first few times it was like, what are you doing? well, that barn, it's wonderful. I need to be able to sketch it and paint it. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, and I love it when people do um, paint or photograph barns and things like that because they don't stay around forever. I know there's a couple of the barns that I've posted already that are no longer standing, and it's kind of a shame. In fact, I believe the last post I made showed a barn that was beginning to fall over, and they took a couple of big posts and braced up one corner of the building, and I showed that in a subsequent shot in there, and it was pretty crazy when I saw that.
Hey, you just never know, do you? All right. Thank you, kitty girl. And there's a barn north of Shadows Pub in Burnley that our dad helped build in his youth, and it's falling down. Oh, I don't even know about that one, Artemis.
Well, I borrowed a Mary Ellen's video camera years ago, and Dad and I went for a drive through Burnley. And he showed me a barn there, not far from the Ireland homestead lands, that he had actually helped build. The main part of the barn was starting to fall down, but the part that they had rebuilt was still standing.
Well, you ought to go and photograph that one before it comes down completely, Artemis.
I would love to.
Yeah, Burnley actually is a ghost town now, officially.
I believe it. They moved all of the graves into the workforce cemetery. That's where I had to go to photograph them.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you dragging us in there in the middle of winter.
Oh, that's right. You were there.
And Ms. Artemis, it's your turn.
Oh, sorry. That's the wrong one. Just a sec.
Yeah, I was thinking we've seen this. Hard to get good help.
I know, right?
There you go.
Well, this is an enterprising lady. She's a fellow fiber artist, and she's raising money for her wedding celebration coming up this fall. So she sewed 22, Missouri patches to sell at a bluegrass festival. And she takes you through how she did it and kind of tells you how frustrating it was because it was a really big project. I don't know how well she did because she hadn't already been to the Bluegrass Festival, but it wouldn't surprise me if she sold most of them.
So, what's the significance of a Grateful Missouri patch?
Well, she had to get the Grateful Dead in there somehow.
Okay.
She's a Grateful Dead fan, so the lightning bolt is actually a Grateful Dead reference.
Oh, okay. I'm so behind the times. That wasn't done by Strauss, was it?
Pardon me?
That Grateful Dead thing, that wasn't done by Strauss, was it? Or Chopin?
No, I don't know.
That's why I
It's
didn't
a little
recognize
newer.
it. Ah, well. It is what it is. Although she's deadhead. Yeah, that'd be me.
Oh, that's what they call Grateful Dead fans. They're deadheads.
Ah.
Are you sure you guys are sisters?
Yep.
There might be a couple of years between us.
Yes, definitely is a couple of years between us. See, when I used to travel on the train, deadhead referred to an empty car that they weren't using. So there we go. I'm still behind the times. All right.
Well, I hate to say it, but you really kind of are, because these are more from your generation than mine.
Yeah, I was never really into my generation either. Thank you, Artemis. And Amelia.
Hi everyone, thanks for calling me out. My post is 5 days old, so I was a little nervous to share it, but I will drop the link for you guys anyway.
You should never be nervous to share it.
So, Kitty Girl, another instance of calling out. Kitty Girl called me out on one of my other posts because she happened to read my handwritten journal page that I tried really hard to obstruct in this picture that I took of something totally unrelated. And she's like, oh, some of the words in there, that would make a great Steam It post.
And she was right. I read this. Tell us about it.
So I won't give you guys a play-by-play, because the post, you could read the post. I tried to make it as like realistic as possible in my retelling, because in my journal it's just like sentence fragments. It was pretty stressful. It was 10:30 in the morning last Saturday, and I was just parking my car in a parking garage in downtown Knoxville, and a mentally ill man who I assumed to be a transient, a homeless person possibly, assaulted me at my car and scared the shit out of me and was fully intending to follow me wherever I was going had it not been right into two volunteers and a police officer. Well, I think the most like ridiculous part was this man, after he was like, was all up in my space and touched me and yelled at me and said horrible, weird things to me, and then followed me up to the police officer. He then just kind of like hovered the way like, you hover when your friend sees someone that they know and they're just going to go talk to them for a minute and you just wait for your friend to come back. That was this guy. Except that friend was an armed police officer. So, unfortunately, he is most likely a mentally ill individual that will not receive the support that he needs. I received my subpoena for going to court to testify against him in the mail a few days ago. So that's kind of a new development in that story.
I love your understatement. Somewhat stressful? I was on the wrong side of an armed robbery, and that was less stressful than what I read in that post. Nice understatement there, Amelia.
I mean, like, I felt I think the whole time I've kind of wrestled with this thought that like, oh, well, you didn't get hurt, like, don't make a big deal out of it, like, don't get all stressed over it, it's fine, it was no big deal. But it's kind of hard to convince myself of that, and that, it makes me feel kind of weak, and it makes me feel like, I don't know, sad, because now I'm, like, it's not even just like being afraid when I'm outside by myself. It's like, I actually yelled at Tang when we were in the same parking lot, just walking back to our car, like, downtown. We went out for lunch together. I'm like, hey, will you walk with me? And I realized I was just like straight up having an anxiety attack in this parking lot. And I'm like, God, this sucks. I did not anticipate this after effect.
Yep. And it's going to be there. Exactly, Hobotang. Like, that could have gone in a lot of ways. It just, circumstances worked out, thankfully, that it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was, the USA Cycling volunteer was really funny. He was like, I'm no pastor, I'm no preacher, but if you need evidence of a God, today's miracle is it. And I just kind of chuckled, because I'm like, can't argue with you at all, because there just happened to be like 3 totally cool, like, solid individuals to like bring my concern to like bring this thing to, because the location is very isolated. Like, you don't even think about it when you're just rolling through, like on your way to get lunch or on your way to get coffee. You just like park your car and you walk away. But like, it's an isolated place that's blocks from a populated area. And like 2 out of 4 of the directions are like increasingly more sketchy. And like, well, so yeah. But I'm glad I wrote about it. I'm glad that I wrote it out, and when I go to court next Tuesday, I will have all of this written out for them.
The details will be fresh in your mind. All
I
right.
just wish, yeah, I guess I just wish that there was an option that I could have chosen in that situation that would have resulted in him actually getting help. Because, like, the weight of knowing that my choice is putting somebody in prison is like kind of a shitty catch-22.
It is a shame that a better option didn't exist.
And it's also possible that that's just a weird twist in that guy's personality, and it's not mental health. So, the assumption is that it's a mental health issue, but it's entirely possible that it was very deliberate and that he was aware.
I think that's even scarier to think about.
Well, if that's the possibility, then cooling his butt in jail for a while will keep somebody else safe.
Yeah, that's honestly what I thought about when I was standing there making a decision and thinking to myself, like, what if they just turn this guy out in 72 hours for his, like, third disorderly conduct charge? Because that was another option where they were like, if you don't want to go to court, we will just charge him with disorderly conduct. And I'm like, he could just, like, get right back out and, like, hang out in this same parking lot. I don't know. Come back to the same city.
Yeah, you just never know. It's played out the way it had to play out. The good news was that you were able to get a good result out of it, and that you ended up being safe, and that's ultimately what mattered.
Yeah, I'm really grateful. Thank you guys for having me tonight. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for sharing. And Jan, you're up.
I'm here.
I know. By the way, there is a giveaway running in the giveaway channel. There's 17 minutes left to put your entry in.
Just got it. Okay, now I've got to find my way back to the chat room.
I knew where it was, I just didn't know. And there we go.
Y'all are so bloody loud.
This isn't my post either. This is from Newbie Games. A few of you might have already heard of it, but just in case, I thought I'd share it because there's a few of you into the Steam at Monsters, and they're giving away Steam at Monster cards in the prizes as well. I seen through the comments that they already have given quite a few of them away. When you're answering, there's 4 questions, and when you're answering them, if you answer each question individually, you will make 4 comments, and that will mean that you will get 4 votes back. And if you comment really well, you tend to get a better vote.
All right, that looks interesting. And it was just posted yesterday, so there's still time on it.
I have noticed one other thing because I looked at it a couple of times, checking up on stuff. And if you scroll down through the comments, you can see some messages are in red text, and those are contests that they have running through the post. So if you leave a comment to those that have red text, you can gain other prizes.
Oh, so they're like bonuses sort of thing.
Yeah, just like a bonus. So like there's bonus questions going on through the event type of thing.
So there's 5 of them there at the moment. They're calling them the red light specials.
Yeah, and then each of them, if you're getting there, so if you keep checking back on the post, you're going to see different ones because they update and they only run for so long, and then like obviously there's all the right answers are there, so they change the question so that different people have a chance of winning and stuff like that.
Thank you, Unicornia, and thank you, Jan. That looks like one that people need to keep an eye on. All right, Hobotang.
So it came up in the morning show about how we had some rule breakers, people like Snook, and I consider myself a bit of a rule breaker. And I was a little upset about doing some homework for my Alliance application and in the classroom, and I was pretty excited when I kind of graduated the classroom and I did a little post. I tried my first curation. Hold on, let me get it posted here.
And there's the link coming. I see him writing. There we go.
So, Siemens as well. Carrie Allen and Zenar helped me out in the classroom. So I did last homework assignment, ironically, in celebration for getting out of the classroom. And the subject was bugs. I really don't like bugs. So I kind of gathered some of my favorite photos of some bugs that I could find and used the elements of design to say why I liked them and why I thought they were so good.
So that's what I call getting out of your comfort zone. I don't like bugs, but I went and found my favorite pictures of bugs. If I didn't like bugs, I wouldn't have any favorite pictures of bugs, so you did really well.
I'm going to push myself. I'm going to get
your
some,
connection's
but just decided to get some macro lenses too.
Your connection went a little wonky there, Hobotang. You probably sneezed or something.
I got that country internet. Sorry about that.
Okay, now it's nice and clear. So did you learn anything out of doing this since it was homework?
I used the kind of elements of design, kind of like line, balance, space, to talk about why I liked some of these pictures over some others that were floating around. And it was kind of nice to exercise some of those principles and write about them. And it was a learning experience to kind of curate a bunch of pictures. I found it hard to search for them and navigate. It was a nice little practice.
So you're going to take on another similar type challenge?
I think so. I've got a couple ideas in mind of a couple more series that I might curate a photograph or two. But I might add some of my own bug pictures as well after being, pushed out of my comfort zone.
Good stuff.
There's that fly again that I have to touch on the screen.
Yep, that kitty girl did it to us again. She put a fly on our screen. Hey, Shane. Good to see you.
I had a cookie in my mouth. Hi.
Hi. All right. Thank you, Hobotang. And Safasera, you are up. And we'll just give her a moment there to get her link in while I'm adding coffee to the queue. Yeah, screen smashing. Everybody's swatting at the fly that's up on it. She did that to several of us earlier. And I see her typing. Yeah, it does.
Good stuff, by the way, there, Alan.
Engine's back. Can't unpush the mic. Oh.
Unpush?
She's having trouble.
She's,
She can't unmute herself.
yeah, are you set up for push to talk, Safi? Well, that is odd.
And she's not server muted, I just checked.
Yeah, definitely not server muted. What was it you asked? There was somebody else that had a similar problem there earlier, Engine.
Their inputs in the settings, if they had the right ones, because sometimes Discord will default to your device instead of your headphones or whatever you're using as a microphone.
Okay, so go into voice and video and make sure that it's properly set. Technology is wonderful when it works.
Are you on the mobile app or the desktop app, Sarah?
She's probably checking your devices at the moment.
Are you on the mobile app on your phone or the desktop app on your computer? Oh, on the phone. All right, that's where you should be able to click to find the push to talk setting.
Phones are picky unless you got Kitty Girl, and then she can guide you right in there.
Yeah, I was looking forward to hearing Sarah talk. I don't think I've ever heard her before.
It's unmuted. Safi is now unmuted. Try your push to talk.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. Now we just need a link. And there we go. She's writing there. All right. Tell us about your post, Safi. Did we lose you? Oh yeah, you got to push the button down and hold it in order when you're talking. Some of us do that. We forget to push.
Okay.
Okay, tell us about your post.
This is my walk with Bobby, and this is a place we used to go, but now there is like a big lake that hasn't been there before. So it was a new walk, and it was a beautiful sight, and it was a beautiful sunset. So it was many pictures that I wanted to share.
So was the cat on the walk with you, or did you just happen to see the cat while you were walking?
The cat were in the grass, and when the cat saw Bobby, she came closer and closer, and she was laying down on the road, and there were the cars coming, so I tried to get the cat to go away, but she just get closer and closer to Bobby. So they were just like staring at each other.
That's kind of surprising because, theoretically it was a stray cat. You'd have thought it would have run away, not come closer. It may have been recently stray.
Well, maybe it's because Bobby is so small that the cat were bigger.
Well, that's a possibility too.
And Bobby is the cutest little thing.
He is.
He's cute.
Hey, certainly not bothered by the presence of the cat. That's for sure.
I think he thinks he's a cat. To be honest with you.
Oh, really?
He loves cats, though.
Ah. Well, you take your cat for a walk on the leash. Oh, wait a minute, it's a dog. Very nice. Thank you, Safi.
You're welcome.
You did really well. Muxie.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hello. I got one of my trips to the USA post to share.
Woo!
In this one, it might feature a certain ingenuity as we went hunting for bears in the Smoky Mountains.
I've heard you spotted some wild ones too.
So yeah, it's just full of pictures of Smoky Mountains on the way up there, and a few pictures of bears.
Just a few pictures of bears. We do it all the time.
And some a picture of a strange group of people, and at the end you'll see the entire Noble Witness team.
That's how we do it here in Tennessee. We wrestle bears.
I really love the shot that you got of the bear out in the meadow, which was where you spotted the bear in the first place, right?
Yeah, I'm quite proud to say that 2 days in the country, I saw a wild bear long before Sir Cock did, and he's lived there all his life. And I will keep reminding him of that fact every time I speak to him.
Perfect.
Wicked awesome too. You've got like the best camera phone device thing ever. I don't know. That was what you got there.
A few people like that phone.
So, as I understand it, you spotted the bear out in the meadow.
Mm-hmm.
And you watched him for a while, and then you went to go on about your business, and came to discover that the bear decided to follow?
I don't think it was the same bear. I think it's a different bear.
Oh, what made you think it was different?
Yeah, because we were like on the other side, and the other one was going the same direction. So I think there's 3 different ones that we saw that day, Moxie.
3?
Yeah, quite possibly. And the first one, I'm sure, was a baby.
Yeah, it was really little.
It certainly seemed to be playing out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that made for quite a experience for you, Mux.
Oh yeah, for sure. Saw wild bears, wild turkeys. We saw a coyote running across the road with a freshly killed rabbit in his mouth.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he went by so quick we didn't have a chance to get a photo.
You do mean an actual wild turkey, not some tall skinny guy named Cork?
They look similar, but no, it was actually wild turkeys.
Nice comeback. So it was certainly quite an experience for you, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, the entire journey there, the country, the people, everything, just overwhelming.
And I love your post. Are you going to share that one too, the one you put up today about the video you ended up sending your daughter?
Yeah. She's only 6, and her name's actually Pixie, and she absolutely loves fairies. And so, of course, as the sun went down by the cabin that we were staying in, all the fireflies came out. So I decided to take a video and send it back to my daughter and tell her that we'd spotted fairies. She loved it.
So you'd never encountered fireflies before?
I have in the past when I lived in Italy, but here in the UK, unless they have them way down south, we don't have them here.
Yeah, there's something just special about a summer evening where fireflies are. This area seems they've become more rare.
Oh, they definitely weren't rare around that cabin.
You come out to the cabin out in country Tennessee about half hour before sunset. You see them all start coming up out of the grass, and it's pretty amazing. It's like a Christmas tree sometimes. It's just blinky everywhere.
Yeah.
I remember doing that as a kid, Shane. Catch them and put them in jars. Then wonder why they die for some strange reason. Yeah, we didn't do this much against our skin. Yeah, that must have been a guy thing. Shane equals evil. Well done, Muxie. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Artemis. What are you doing this time,
Alan,
Artemis?
that's actually Khaleesi's favorite song lately.
This is Eco Instant's newest post, and he took a challenge, and boy, he did it well. He entered a contest where you have to make a video pitching a product in 3 seconds flat, and his video nailed it. He's his mother's son.
And if anybody doesn't know, Eco Instant is Snook's son. And he nailed it. 3 seconds flat on a product.
He nailed it. Check out the video. He did it.
What's the guy doing up on a mountain on a farm?
Enjoying life.
Apparently. All right. Coffee, better known as Zaphod Bibelbrox.
I'm back again.
Yes, you are.
I think I just deleted the link I was going to.
Hey, all of you that are over there in the UTC time, thanks for staying up and hanging out with us tonight. That's pretty cool of you, and Muxie and Coffee and Sarah and all you others.
This is true. Thank you for mentioning that, Engine.
Yeah, it's only 10 to 2. I've only got to get up in 5 hours, I think.
Yeah, I've got another hour or so before bed.
Piece of cake.
You only have to get up again if you go to bed.
This is true.
Yeah, just stay awake all night. Why not? So, I'm sharing a brand new witness post for this final one. So this is Safik, and he's actually part of Team Good. I don't know if anyone is kind of au fait with Team Good, but it's kind of run by Batlax and also Ancat Barbie.
Yes. She's pretty big in the LGBT community too, isn't she?
She is. She's the administrator in the Discord. She's Australian, is she not?
Yeah, I think so. She's just started up as witness and is obviously trying to get some votes pulled together to get her going. So it's always going to be nice if anyone's got a witness vote spare that can put her name on their list. That would be really nice to get her moved up the ladder a little bit and maybe get her a block going.
So I'll remind you that if you were voting for Jerry Banfield or the OCD witness, both of those have disabled their witness. So unvote them, and you've got 1 or 2 votes available.
Why did OCD shut theirs down? Anybody know?
I don't know. Somebody mentioned it here this morning.
I thought maybe they shut it down when the blockchain burped a couple of days ago and haven't restarted it, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually with OCD. I'm sure it's only temporary until they get it all sorted.
Okay, because persons this morning said that it had been announced that they were shutting it down. So
really,
it might be interesting to check into.
Yeah, I talked to Guy and Andy over there and the family because they curate for them every day no more.
Yeah, it kind of surprised me when the person said, yeah, OCD announced theirs, and I was like, that's weird.
Right? Yeah, they're pretty good people over there. They resemble Curie, and they've been doing some good stuff.
Yeah, it's good, good for the community. It's good for everything. So it was kind of surprising when it was said.
I'll double check. I'll speak to someone over there.
Good plan.
Thanks, Muxie.
Yeah, we don't need too much FUD going on.
No.
Exactly. No, need people unvoting them for no reason, if they're actually going to re-up it, take care of it.
Yeah. Banfield is confirmed. He is shutting it down. So, if you've been voting for him, unvote him. All right. Chris, you're back. Good to
And
see
then
you.
give your vote to Sapphic or Coffee, and one of those awesome people.
Sorry, no chat tonight. Is another prequel to the new project I'm starting to work on. Not much else to say about it other than our dog took off on us. We don't know why. So he may have just taken off for a little run and got himself disoriented. Which dog was it? The one on the left or the right, Chris? The one on the right. That's a mischief-looking dog. Love the look on its face. It's got that look like, okay, what can I get into next? How long has he been gone? Wow. Yeah, he's a cute guy. Well, I hope you get lucky and he maybe comes back. Artemis had a dog that we took up to our parents' place because Artemis couldn't move the dog to where she was moving. And she disappeared. She took off that day and she was gone, what was it, 2 weeks, Artemis?
She was gone 2 weeks, and we found out that because we followed her trail, that she'd been going between the trees behind Mom and Dad's to the garbage dump, and that's how she was surviving.
And just wandered back into the yard 2 weeks later. It was crazy.
Reminds you of like Incredible Journey or Homeward Bound or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all you can do at this point, Chris. Cute dog, anyways. All right.
How old was the dog? Because I know sometimes when dogs get a certain age, they kind of know when they're going to go, and they'll be peaceful about it.
7, he's just young.
He'll be back then.
Hopefully. All right. Has anyone else got anything they'd like to share? Heavily overweight. Well, that'll help him survive, then, won't it? And D-Joy hasn't even been in here. How did she win tonight? The Hive has won. D-Joy
You forgot to clear tonight.
No. D-Joy entered, but has not been in the channel.
She probably just was in the chat and seen the giveaway channel light up and clicked on the name.
Yeah, that's not kosher. Yeah, D-Joy, you've not been in the voice channel all night. You entered the giveaway. That one's disallowed.
Yeah.
It's for people that
Demoted.
are actually participating. So the other winner is the Hive. You won earlier today,
Racking
too.
them up over there, Jane.
Thank you.
Engine, you're going robotic. Oh, we may have lost him.
He does that in real life as well.
Does he?
Yeah.
That must have been fun to talk to. 1 o'clock in the morning. Go, oh, wait a minute. That's called inebriation.
It might have been the beer.
Yeah, that could have been the problem.
Oh, come on. I didn't drink anything. just...
Boy, that got his voice back in a hurry.
I went through a low spot over here. I was just telling Janice that Hive's racking up the racking up the wins over there.
Nothing like the SBI.
That's my first win, isn't it?
Beep boop.
Well, I'm going to give us all a post because this one will give you the information on the other shows that are playing on Rambling Radio. We now have Artemis North on Mondays with the Creative Coffee Hour, and we have the Curation Corner on Tuesdays with Artemis and myself, and on Wednesday we have Crazy BG with the Steam Adventure, and then of course PYPT runs on Thursdays. There is another one that is being planned. The person who's planning it has to decide which day he's going to run it on. So it's coming along. Anybody wants to do a show? Talk to me.
Oh, don't forget Snook
I want to
Show.
do a show.
Okay, Engine, talk to me. And yes,
I will. I'll talk to you later on.
Snook is doing a podcast. She's not doing a regular live show. She's doing a podcast. And up here, you'll find a channel called Pants Are Optional. And that's where the episodes for her podcasts are. The first episode is in the channel right now. So just keep checking that channel out. And if you put your an emoji in there to let us know, we'll make sure that you get notice when there is a new episode put in. Okay, D-Joy. Give us a link there, please.
As long as you keep the camera up on your chest, pants are optional.
And there's the link. Okay, tell us about this post. You're muted. There we go.
All right. Hello everyone.
Hello. And we've lost you again? I got a little, there we go. You're live.
Okay. I said I got thinking, and I was speaking with a friend who was a bit low, and I told him what I was thinking about. I believe that the lows in our lives are meant to purge us of some unwanted things. So I kind of made it into a post. I told him how when we are low, maybe when we are down to our last or deep down, that's when we find out who's truly our friend. That's when we get to think better. That's when many distractions are taken away. So I kind of put it in a post about how the good and bad, when we accept both sides, then we can enjoy life in its spiciness. So that is basically what the post is about. At the picture, you can see the picture, that's water and fire. So I have learned personally to not be in a haste to avoid what I may term as negative or as the dark. Because it's in those times that I get lessons which will help me enjoy the light or the good when it comes. So that is what the post is about.
Very good. It should make for an interesting read. Thank you, D-Joy, and well done. That's what, your third time with us?
This is my third time, yeah.
Fourth time. Good stuff.
Third. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else got a link that they would like to drop in? Shane, have you been kicking anything out? Uh-oh, I caught him. Oh, Shane. Has Shane been writing anything in this area? They're both apparently busy.
Strange.
momentarily distracted, apparently. I see Artemis is typing there something there, where she was.
Yeah, it either involves cats or Cheez-Its.
Or a triangle. Triangles are busy these days.
Yeah, they're quite popular nowadays.
They are. Okay. In that case, you've been listening to Shadows Pub host, Pimp Your Post Thursday, evening edition from the Steam at Ramble, broadcast on Rambling Radio. And until next time, it's all about community. And goodbye,
Thanks for
Wilma.
hosting. Thanks for hosting, Shadow. Sorry, I thought you'd already turned it off. My bad.